Air traffic rose 76.2% in June, and world food prices fell sharply in July. You're watching the Daily Brief with Forbes. I'm Ramya Faraj. Total air traffic in June was up 76.2% compared to June 2021, mainly from the ongoing strong recovery in international traffic. IATA says globally, traffic is now at 70.8% of pre-COVID levels. Domestic traffic for June was up 5.2% compared to the year-ago period. Strong improvements in most markets, combined with the easing of some lockdown restrictions in the Chinese domestic market, contributed to the result. Total June 2022 domestic traffic was at 81.4% of the June 2019 level. International traffic rose 229.5% versus June 2021. World food prices fell sharply in July, partly on the deal between Ukraine and Russia that's lifted a sea blockade that had stopped Ukrainian grain shipments. The UN Food Agency's World Price Index declined again last month, edging further away from all-time highs hit in March. The Food and Agriculture Organization's index tracks the most globally traded food commodities. It averaged 140.9 points last month versus a revised 154.3 points for June. 3 more ships loaded with grain sailed from Ukraine today. The ships that departed today are among over a dozen that have been loaded with grain and stuck at the port since the Russian invasion in February. While tens of thousands of tons of grains are now making their way out with these latest shipments, it's a fraction of the 20 million tons of grains stuck in Ukraine's silos and ports, which must be shipped to make space for this year's harvest. The halt of almost all deliveries from Ukraine sent global food prices soaring, making imports too costly for some of the world's poorest nations. Shipping group AP Moller-Maersk is buying Danish logistics company Martin Bencher Group in a deal valued at $61 million. Maersk says Martin Bencher will be an excellent fit to Maersk and its integrator strategy, strengthening its ability to provide project logistics services to global clients. Martin Bencher operates in 23 countries with 170 employees and specializes in moving oversized cargo. German insurance giant Allianz saw its profits fall in Q2 to $1.7 billion, down 23.3% on the same period last year. The setback came despite revenues climbing by 8.2% to $37.1 billion, with progress seen in all areas besides asset management. Its asset management unit has been rocked by legal troubles in the U.S., where investors have filed a complaint over heavy losses suffered during the coronavirus pandemic. Chinese chipmaker shares jumped by the most in 2 years this week after the U.S. Senate last week passed the CHIPS and Science Act to better compete with China. China's semiconductor index rose 6.8% today, bringing the week's gains to 14.2%, the best weekly performance since mid-2020. The U.S. CHIP Act would further restrict the use of advanced U.S. technologies in China while encouraging more semiconductor investment in the U.S. It means Chinese chipmakers would have huge opportunities to replace imported products. I'm Ramya Faraj. This is the Daily Brief. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.